let me bring Tammy into this for a moment. And so I'm going to introduce her with a couple of different questions. I mean, there are many forces within the Muslim world that are trying to establish something approximating a détente and a peace with the Western world. That's exemplified most particularly with the Abraham Accords. And the Abraham Accords have stayed intact despite what's happened after October 7th and all the activism on the side of Iran, for example, doing everything it possibly can to destabilize the Western universities and to bring out the demise of the peace process that was established under the Trump administration. And so there are positive forces operating within the Muslim community that are trying to bring something approximating peace. And so it's dangerous to segregate Islam as such. You could make this case, it's dangerous to segregate Islam as such, because if we can't continue to communicate with the moderates, then the more fundamentalist types that are likely misusing what might be a core religious doctrine to push their fundamentalism and their essentially their race hatred and their sadism. And so it's very difficult to walk through that and separate the wheat from the chaff. Tammy, what I wanted to ask you is, like, you insisted before we did that first interview that you trusted Tommy Robinson, and I asked you why, and I want you to reiterate that. And I also want you to tell me if that's still true, and I want to see if you have some questions that you'd also like to levy at him. You've watched what's happened in the last month since we did our interview, and so maybe you could reiterate for people why you thought we should do this interview and what drew you to want to talk to Robinson to begin with, and what your conclusions have been given what we've gone through in the last month.
Well, first of all, I'd say that I'm for free speech. And I see Tommy as putting a light to issues that nobody else will talk about, and that's important. And he's also outlined his experience personally